Hey everybody, Wes here with Fundamental Games, just wrapping up the final day of our Legends of Novus Kickstarter. It's about, 9 o'clock my time, and another 12 hours will go by before this campaign's officially over, so it's quite possible we'll hit another stretch goal, but looking at the trend, usually late at night and overnight, we don't get quite that high. But on a positive note, Pledge Manager will be coming up in the near future, which could help us still unlock Avia, the spider of Vase City, because I know some of you were quite interested in getting one more character. Now I just wanted to go over a couple things with you in this final update, at least final Kickstarter campaign update, because there'll be updates later on. So I'm just going to go through a list of things so you know what to expect in the coming weeks and months now that we've finished through the live campaign part of things. So first off, a thank you to over 500 backers. We've raised over $25,000 in US funds, and that's about $33,000 Canadian. So that's impressive in itself. It actually went beyond my original funding goal for the first campaign when the component costs were higher. And that's exactly why throughout this campaign I was able to layer in additional components and upgrades and new characters because that just brought us back to that component cost that I originally had the game budgeted for. And that has a lot to do with the thinner character boards and a couple of other adjustments made in the game. So again, thank you very much all the backers in the last 2 days. You really elevated what this box has to offer, and for everybody that stuck around since the beginning, been absolutely fantastic. A special shout out to those of you that have really encouraged the Kick Track and the Facebook page and other different ways to reach out. And I apologize if I'm forgetting any names, but Lee, you really helped start it up in the beginning. Ian, you've been there the whole time. Ryan, we met just a couple days ago and got a chance to play Novus. That was awesome. And there's been many other people that have been kind of speaking up here and there and vocal sometimes behind the scenes. So thank you very much to all you folks for making this possible. Next up, really want to talk about the stretch goals again that we achieved. So we unlocked Jotun, the half-orc barbarian. He'll be part of the game as a Kickstarter exclusive. We unlocked the etched die, so that's great. That would be with any of the games going forth if it got reproduced. The third one we unlocked was the tile cards, or sorry, I guess that would have been the first one, but the tile cards for the quest creatures, which will be a really great feel, tactile experience for the game. Nice to have that heavier component instead of just cards. I know there was some questions on these dual layer character boards, so I just wanted to emphasize one more time that these are a core component. It wasn't a stretch goal. It's been part of the game cost ever since the beginning. Just the final version is a bit thinner than these ones, but they're fully functional. So I've got those, and all the art is still going to be upgraded throughout the game. So you may have seen pieces that maybe the art didn't look quite like the higher grade art. So all of the art is going to get upgraded to Andrea's fantastic presentation there. And over 1,000 or almost 1,000 comments, and there might even be 1,000 by the time this all ends, because I'm sure really close to the end we'll have some celebratory comments through multiple backers. So that high level of engagement is what kept us higher on the Kick Track list, or at least showing up almost every single day on that very competitive Kick Track list. And what kept me engaged in the campaign, because I've seen campaigns that only have 10 or 20 comments over the course of 30 days and just not much happening. And you guys have really made it exciting to go in and check regularly every hour and make that happen. So for next steps, what's going to happen? Well, like I said, the art is a huge part of this game, and whether it's the art from the locations like Boros Tyranno has provided, we're going to get a few more pieces of that, or whether it's the character and encounter art. We've got, I think, another 19 creatures to finish up now that we're fully funded. And then we've got all of the reward cards, which is faster to produce, but we want to get all the reward cards upgraded to that special style of Andrea's with those fancy backgrounds that he has, so that all the magical cards look the same, all the regular cards look the same for the reward deck. So going to take a little bit of time, probably till the end of August, to do all that art, because we want to give it the time necessary to give you the quality that you want, that you are paying for. But that still puts us in a great timeline for production as well, because during that time, while Andrea is doing the art, I'll be working on making sure all the templates match up with the production manufacturer overseas. This is going through Ningbo Eastar, and they're the ones that have mass-produced games such as Nemesis and they're also in the middle of manufacturing Tainted Grail, the #1 Kickstarter this year. At least it was a while back, and I'm sure many of you have heard about that one. So I'm going to be doing that, and then once those templates are defined, they're just going to be kind of waiting in the wings until all the art comes in, and then I can just download those files and get them sent off. Once those templates are done, the next thing I'll be working on is making sure the pledge manager is ready to go. So that'll probably be a couple weeks down the road. I want to give some time to get a couple more art pieces and share those, and we may even, it gives backers a chance to maybe recoup from the initial $50 or however much money they might have invested, and be ready for that next paycheck if they're really wanting to upgrade a pledge. So a bit of time in between, and make sure that I get you the right rates for shipping on the pledge manager, and I might throw in an offer for Duel of the Dragons if anybody's interested in purchasing that game. That one's already available on drive-through cards, but maybe you want to order it through Upgrade here. So number 3 thing is the pledge manager. The 4th thing I'll be working on once the pledge manager is defined and emailed out will be the D&D 5e campaign. So as I mentioned before, I have a nice skeletal structure planned out. I have some ways to incorporate many of the different pieces of art right into that campaign, specifically for those that backed this campaign just for the D&D adventure. I want to make sure you get an immersive experience both for the adventure, for the creatures, and for the location art that all looks so fabulous in the game, and that'll help immerse yourself in the world of Novus and maybe become a campaign that maybe your adventuring party wants to become a part of more in the future. After that D&D 5e campaign gets created, that will be sent out as soon as it's finished. What I will make sure I do is I'll send it to a couple people that are very, very familiar with the 5e production world, and let them give it a comb over so that I'm not sending you something that's not fully finished. So I'll do the best I can with that 5e experience. The 5th thing that we'll put together will be the art book. Now the reason the art book is going to wait a bit is because I want to make sure Andrea has time to finish those newly fleshed out characters. It'll be great to include those in the art book. That new unlocked quest creature that we created, Eisenthrax, the force, the elemental evil, so to speak. He's a giant, massive elemental magical creature that's going to have all aspects of elements intertwined within his body, and I think it's going to be amazing what Andrea puts together with that, because anytime him and I have worked together on an idea, he just really makes it come alive with his vision. So once those new characters and Eisenthrax are created, we'll have enough to put together the art book. There'll be rewards or equipment in there, there'll be magic cards, skill cards in there, and we'll really try to put something together that you'll enjoy having, whether it's on your coffee table or when you pull out Novus, just having something, maybe you're playing a 5-player game and it gives players a chance to look through something if it's not their turn, and have a little lull in the middle. And then number 6 will be the app update. And again, holding off on the app update until the very end, because I want to update the final version of the app with all of the final art. So it doesn't make sense to spend a lot of time updating the app for something that you can't even play yet. But that app will get updated as soon as the art is finalized. So the app will be available to you with all the new art long before you'll ever get the game. And that way you'll be able to get a chance to see all this amazing stuff early on. And again, that's specifically for Android, because the Apple app acceptance program is much harder to jump through, and I only have a JPEG link type of application, and Android's good with that. Alright, so that's a lot to share. I mean, we've been through a lot over the past 17 days. Hard to believe we ran a 17-day campaign and were able to recoup and make all the money that I was trying to make in a 30-day campaign. And this campaign wasn't about me making any money, so trust me that I have made sure that anything that I could make profit-wise went directly to art and high-quality components for you, and to advertise the game to get more backers to be able to do that. So chances are it'll be a kind of a break-even project, and that's if I'm lucky, and that's so that we could build this foundation of game that's Legends of Novus. One of the recent backers mentioned that they would love to see an expansion in the future, and I've talked about that in the past. So what'll happen is once this game gets produced and shipped out to you, hopefully early next year, then it'll be in your hands. And so if 500 people have this game and can give all of that feedback instead of just having a couple reviewers and a couple players, if we have up to 500 people giving feedback on Board Game Geek or Dice Tower or all the different groups that they're in. What that does is that creates an energy and an excitement about the game, so that should there be a relaunch with a change up in components, or should there be an expansion with the potential to buy the original game without the original Kickstarter exclusives, then who knows where this game could go. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next year once this game is in your hands. And that's the most exciting part about this entire journey, is this is just the beginning. You have kickstarted Legends of Novus and kickstarted a potentially long-term expandable board game that could have thematic expansions, or could have immersive expansions, or D&D exclusive campaign books. There's so much that this has to offer, and it's all thanks to you having the faith to kickstart this board game. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I do want to give you a cheers. I pulled out, I've got a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue that my wife was so kind to give me a couple of years back, and it just sits up and out of the way, and I've only had 2 small glasses like this of it ever since I got it. But this is a worthy occasion, what you guys have helped accomplish, and what we're going to keep achieving throughout the year to bring this to life, I think deserves a good cheers. So thank you very much. Cheers to Novus, and I look forward to providing you with regular updates on art, on production components, and whatever else it is you want to see. Let me know if there's anything that you're curious about with the game going forward. So signing off, we'll have some more videos in the future, but this will be the last official Kickstarter campaign video while we're still live or finishing up. Cheers.